Hey everyone, it's me Gavin Vengeance and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Challenge 3 of the Hypostatic Symphony event. This time we'll be facing a pure geohypostasis, which is just a slightly stronger version of a regular geohypostasis. The boss has a lot of the same mechanics that you already are familiar with, however there are a couple of slight changes which I will go over in this video. You should be able to get a minimum of 3,000 points if you follow this guide, so without further ado, let's get into it. Currently right now what you're seeing on screen is just a very brief overview of my party makeup for this fight. However, I will highly recommend if you have access to a leveled and fully kitted Razor, definitely make use of him in your party because he will help you burn down this fight in no time. Unfortunately for myself, I neglected to use Razor at all in my files, so I am going to be using Tartaglia as my main DPS, and I will also be using Beto to help support. And I'll mention once again, you actually don't need to have every single character that I do use in my party. You are very much open to have your own party makeup for this. Use whatever is going to work for you. In order to achieve a minimum of 3,000 points, once again, we need to have the difficulty set on Expert, and this is just a very brief guideline of what you can use for your variations. Again, open to being changed based upon whatever your needs are. And now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the guide. As you enter the arena, once again, I would highly recommend using foods. For myself, I use Jade Parcels as well as a potion to help buff my hydro damage. As the battle begins, the boss will remain stationary for a set amount of time. This would be a great opportunity to prepare for its upcoming attacks. I normally just place a pillar with Zhongli so that way I can help block oncoming projectiles. However, if you have access to a character like Ning Wang, you can also put up her screen. The first thing it will do, it will summon pillars that you need to break. Again, if you have access to Zhongli, this is a great opportunity for you to use his hold attack, which will do a lot of damage to the pillar. However, if you don't have access, a standard two-handed swordsman should be able to deal with the pillars very quickly. If you don't have access to any character like Ning Wang that can block the oncoming projectiles, you can also just dodge out of the way. You just need to be a little bit picky with your timing. As the first pillar breaks, this will be your first opportunity to deal a lot of damage to the boss. So as you've seen, I swapped immediately to Beto, used her elemental burst, swapped then to Tartaglia, activated his elemental skill, and started damaging with the daggers. When the boss becomes invulnerable, it'll just teleport to another pillar, so just keep an eye out for whichever one it goes to, and then follow it immediately because you will need to break that one next. As each pillar falls, you'll be granted another opportunity to deal more damage to the boss, so plan to use your skills accordingly. After the second pillar falls, however, just be aware that the boss will end up marking one of your characters with a circular icon. This indicates that the boss will end up shooting a gigantic AoE at your character, so get ready to dodge. Unlike the original fight, however, it won't be just one blast. The boss will do 3 back-to-back blasts, so again, plan to dodge accordingly. Again, we just rinse and repeat here and try to deal as much damage as possible to the boss while it's vulnerable. Then we just get prepared for the 4th teleportation it does over to the final pillar, which will be the same mechanic that we see in the regular geohypostasis fight, in which it'll just charge up the pillar and shoot out one arena-wide AoE. This AoE can be very easily mitigated if you have a character like Beto that you can just use their elemental skill, pop the counter, and then it does absolutely nothing to you. If you don't have access to her, you can also use a character like Noelle. Also, you may need to be a little bit cautious here if you can't destroy the pillar fast enough. The boss may follow up with another attack, so you may need to prepare to dodge. Once again, break the pillars and then try to deal as much damage as possible to the boss. I'm fairly certain people could probably have the boss defeated by this point, but if you're like myself and you don't have access to an extremely powerful setup, then you need to get prepared for the next phase. As the boss becomes invulnerable, it'll teleport to the middle of the arena and you will be unable to damage it for some time. Once it does, it'll spawn crystals around the arena which can be destroyed. These crystals will then spawn geoshields that you can pick up and you can mitigate the damage that the boss is going to be continuously bursting out around the arena. It should be something like a total of 4 crystals around the arena that you need to take down. Again, destroy it, grab a shield, and then rotate to the next one. I think they only take maybe like 2 hits or something with the two-handed sword. So, again, once you defeat all 4 of them, the boss will become vulnerable yet again for another damage window. If you're unable to push the boss into the final 5% of its health, which will make it transition into the final phase, you will have to deal with an additional phase here, just like you're seeing in the video. then it'll just end up cycling through regular Geo-Hypostasis attacks, whether it be a gigantic AoE that'll end up placing on the arena, or a standard clap attack, something along the lines of that, and as each one of those attacks end, you will be granted yet another window to deal more damage. Upon pushing the boss to that final 5% of its health, it'll just transition into your regular Geo-Hypostasis final phase, in which you will need to take down 3 pillars in order to defeat the boss. This is extremely easy to do if you have access to a character like Zhongli. You can use his hold attack and it'll destroy 2 pillars while also doing a little bit of damage to that 3rd pillar. If you have access to a character like Razor, you don't even need to do any of that. You can just destroy all 3 in no time. Again, destroy the 3 pillars, and congratulations, you have just taken down Challenge 3 of the Hypostatic Symphony. Thank you guys very much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. I wish you all the best of luck, and I'll see you tomorrow for Challenge 4. Take care.